Hey everyone, welcome to another Facebook Live for Fire Drill Podcast. It's super exciting to have everyone here. Thank you for joining me again. This is now number 3. This is really exciting and I actually really love doing these. So this is great. Okay, so first on the agenda is we are running a contest to celebrate the fact that we hit 500,000 downloads in our first year, and it's so exciting. And we wanted to say thank you. So we're doing this contest. So you can win a few books, you can win a $50 Amazon gift card, and you can win a cool shirt like this because it's awesome, and you should want to have one. So you have until midnight tonight to sign up. If you haven't already done so, if you haven't already signed up for all of the tasks that you can do to get points to sign up, definitely recommend that you do that before midnight. So you have like 4.5 more hours in order to do that, I think. Or I ended at 8. So you have half an hour. Just kidding. Half an hour, 30 minutes. We will pick winners before, let's say, the end of next week. So maybe I'll announce the winners live on next week's live podcast. So we'll figure that out. But today's live is going to revolve around my buddy Kevin, who is awesome. And he blogs over at Financial Panther. We had him on the podcast previously, and I thought that some of his stuff that he was doing nowadays is worth having him on again. So with that, I will bring on Kevin. So here we go. Kevin, welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. So for those who might not have listened to your previous episode with us, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm an attorney here in Minnesota. I started off kind of the traditional legal path at a big law firm downtown in Minneapolis. Did that for a couple years, switched over to government work, and then last year I made another change. So I've been jumping around trying to find myself the right work-life balance for the things I want to do. And,
Aren't we all?
Yeah, so that's kind of my day job. And then by night and in my spare time, I do a lot of side hustling, primarily in sharing economy, gig economy stuff. You've seen all my stuff I do. So
Okay, so for somebody who hasn't gone to a meetup and seen you come up, what are some of the gig economy side hustles that you've been doing lately?
Yeah, so I've got the standard. I do Airbnb, and I rent out a room in my house on Airbnb. Mm-hmm. I do dog sitting using Rover. I walk dogs using Wag. I deliver food using my bike on a Postmates, Uber Eats, DoorDash. And my latest one I've been doing is charging up scooters for Bird and Lime. And those scooters are awesome. You've seen me on those scooters.
So we went to a meetup a couple weeks ago, and my boyfriend and I rode our bikes all the way across town, and we're sweaty. It's hot outside. We're pedaling, we're going up hills and everything. And so we get close to the coffee shop where we're all meeting out. And then all of a sudden we see him just scootering along, just like standing there, hanging out, enjoying the breeze. He's going by. And we're just like, you suck. And you got paid to do that.
But that's the only problem with the scooters is you get no exercise on them at all because you're literally just standing there.
Also, you have to watch out for your ankles because they bite.
Right. I have a lot of scars on my ankles now from basically when you kick off the scooter, you sometimes might hit yourself on the side of it. Yeah.
If a Lime scooter is in a city near you, watch out for your ankles.
Right. Now I'm better at it. When I kick off of them, now I kick farther away from the scooter.
Sarah says that she went bird charging with another FI hustler and it was ridiculously fun.
Oh, you haven't even seen the thing I did this past weekend.
What did you do?
So basically what I did with these scooters is kind of, because I don't, normally you would, like most people would drive around and like pick these scooters up. I
Hmm.
don't drive ever, so I have to like use a scooter to like grab other scooters, right? And so what I did was I stacked up basically four of them up on top, and I rode it all of them on one scooter.
Oh my gosh,
It's a
you
four
would.
stack. That's the most I can do. And if you ever saw me on it, it's ridiculous. I wish someone had been there to like film me on this thing.
Next time that you want to do that, let me know. I'll ride my bike all the way over there and I will film video of it.
It is, yeah, it is too funny.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so why do you do all these side hustles? Somebody asked in the Facebook group, Dylan, he said, why does he prefer to have a multitude of side hustles all at once versus focusing on one or two at a time? So I have all these side hustles.
Yeah, and that's a good question because right, you could say, well, it's better just to focus on like your job or something and keep moving up the corporate ladder or something like that, right? Or pick one thing and just do that really well.
Right.
One of the things with a lot of these type of side hustles is that they aren't like super time consuming, and it's like you can kind of fit them in. So that's why I do lots of them for one thing, because they're just not like I don't need to put tons of time into any specific one side hustle.
Right.
The other reason is because it's fun. Like I have a lot of fun doing all of these different things, and so that's why I do it.
I mean, it is fun to walk a dog and it is fun to scooter around, I guess.
Right. And so like I do all these different things. It kind of like changes up my day, because like, and that's kind of like one of the things I talk about with side hustling is that like it doesn't, when I first started side hustling, it was sort of like an escape, It's like
Mhm.
I could do something totally different than like my regular boring lawyer job.
Right.
And it's just like not something that takes up a lot of my mental power. It's like fun. Like I love biking around. So it's like I could just bike around, deliver some food, go walk some dogs, It's like it's just like a fun change of pace. It just like it's a nice de-stressor for me.
Yeah, because I mean, you don't really need it for the money, right?
Right. Like for me, I don't use any of my side hustle money. Like it literally 100% of it just gets saved except for, what I need to pay in taxes on it.
Hmm.
So it's like, to me, it's like a bonus basically. It's like I get my own little extra, retirement account I can make with it basically.
Somebody pays you just for life.
Right. Right. Cause
So, so speaking of taxes, Marjorie asked, how do you do the taxes for a side hustle? How do you ensure that your job contract allows you to have multiple business sources of income?
yeah. Okay. Well, so the second part there, that yeah, that's a weird one because you're right. Like I don't tell my employers I do this stuff. I don't think my current job they wouldn't care. I don't think. But when I was working for the state, like I remember seeing that like in like something like a handbook or something. It said like you're not supposed to like work other jobs,
Yeah,
right?
that's like the Hatch Act or something.
Yeah. Well, no, this isn't even because this is like I was working for a state government. I don't think it even matters with that thing. But I don't know. I don't know for sure. But you're right. So it's like, I mean,
I think
I just wouldn't tell my employer I was doing these side things. Like, I don't know about you when you were doing your side stuff with your job. Like, I know you kept it pretty quiet, pretty much up until the end, right?
yeah, like people knew that I was doing that, but they didn't really care for
Yeah.
one, and two, I wasn't really making much money from those side hustles, so it wasn't like a super big problem. Only at the end there did my manager get concerned about me blogging, and that was only because I was putting my income up there. So he asked his manager about it, and they were like, "No, no, no, it's a formula. Like we can defend why we pay her what we do." So he wasn't concerned from that aspect, although he was concerned about my privacy and like being safe by putting things out like that on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. Yeah, because you're sharing your income and stuff, and a lot of employers don't want you to share that because you're right, your coworkers see that, and then
Yeah.
then there's issues with people being overpaid or underpaid or whatever.
But in this case, since it was a big company, they had this formula that they followed for pay, and then they could defend it. Like if some guy came up and was like, "Well, why is she getting paid more than me? You know, I should be getting paid equal." Then they could be like, "Well, we're paying her more because of this, 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 and this." You know, type deal.
Right. Yeah.
So Claudia wants to know, what's your most lucrative side hustle?
It's definitely Airbnb, without a doubt. And, it kind of makes sense because, your house is your biggest asset. So it kind of makes sense that it would make the most money. Yeah. So, I've started now renting out my whole house
Mm-hmm.
occasionally, which has been really working out well. So I've rented out my whole house 3 times now. No one has trashed my place. It's always family staying here, which is great. Like the last 3 guests have all been families with little kids. And
Nice.
it's perfect. It's like no one's gonna destroy my place. But it's like for that weekend, I can make like $1,000 for like renting out my whole house. It's like that's pretty sweet. So
Right.
and even just renting out my room, like just the one room I rent out, it usually brings in about close to about $1,000 every month just doing that stuff.
That's worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
What's the most that you've made from renting out your Airbnb?
yeah. The most ever in a month was in February of this year when I rented out my house for the Super Bowl. And that was awesome because I had a person rent our house for 2 nights and it was $2,500 they
For
paid
for two
for
nights.
2 nights. I put it at $1,250 a night. And I mean, and I had no reviews. I haven't even put up pictures of the whole, like I only have pictures of the guest room of my one guest room I rent. So I don't even put up pictures of like the other rooms in my house. And someone rented it out and it was great because again, it was a family. It was husband and wife, their babysitter, and like a baby. So it was perfect because you think Super Bowl would be like party people,
Right.
and it was not at all. And yeah, so that
What
was $500 for 2 nights.
Where did you go while they were renting out your house?
So my wife and I flew to Arizona for that weekend. We had the Southwest Companion Pass, so we could fly for free there.
Nice.
And so while it was 0 degrees here in Minnesota,
Oh, it was so cold.
it was so cold. It was like 80 degrees in uh in Arizona, so that was nice.
Dylan wants to know, if you when you rent out your whole house, do you lock up certain items or move things around?
Yeah, so I do. I like because I have so many credit cards and stuff from all these travel hacking things I do. So I like take all that stuff, and that's really the only thing like I think is worth stealing in my house is like credit cards. I guess like I don't keep cash in my house. I don't have like valuable things in my house, so it's like I just take those stuff basically like my passport, whatever that kind of stuff, and I put it in a room I have in my basement, and I just lock. And I've got this like camera basically that I put in that room. Yeah, I've got all these sweet like tech things, smart home stuff, and I just put that in there so that if anyone would like to open that door, I would like know that they're in there. Yeah, so it's pretty much I just take all the stuff that's important out of there. I leave all my like clothes and things are still out, and
I
yeah.
mean, picked up nice, but they're like put away in your like dresser, right?
Yeah, they're like in my dresser and stuff, but they're still like in my dresser and closet and things. Not like I clear everything out. I just leave it there. And I
Hmm.
tell them, I'm like, this is my house, it's very clear, like I live here. So my
Right?
stuff is gonna be here.
Like, this is my house, so deal with my stuff or
Yeah.
GTFO. I still
But
can't believe you got 1250 for one night though. That's insane.
yeah, I know. And that was like a very rare thing, obviously.
Well, yeah, I
But
mean, how many times does Super Bowl come to Minnesota?
right. But the more I think about it, it's like there's like big events here, like big sporty events. Like
The
next
X
year there's
Games. The
yeah,
X Games were just here.
right. X Games, I didn't rent my house then. I actually had to block off. I actually blocked off that week just for myself, just to get a break. That's a nice thing about Airbnb. It's like you can just take breaks when you want, from having people. But yeah, there's like a lot of sporting events. Like next year, I think is Final Fours here,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and like a few years back, there was the Ryder Cup. I know people were renting out their house then.
That's
For
golf,
sure.
right?
Golf, yeah, that was like a big golf event. So it's like there's always something.
Jordan says they got $550 a night for 4 nights for Final Four this year.
$550 a night. Yeah,
550 a night.
for 4 nights, that's pretty good. And as long as were they party people, or that's the only thing. I don't know who goes to Final Four, because Super Bowl, I feel like you gotta be pretty rich, so you're probably not like going with all your like bros to party.
Yeah, I
Final Four
imagine
though could be party people.
a little
So
bit cheaper. Yeah, I don't know, Jordan. Were they party people? Did your house get trashed, or was it? Did it work out? Let us know in the comments, and we'll talk about it. Um, so okay, so going back though, so you're a lawyer and your wife's a dentist.
right.
So Tamika wants to know if the goal for FI changes when you make higher income.
Um so one of the things, so the goal, I mean, like if you're like a lawyer and dentist, like you do have some different issues to deal with, because like your income is going to be just, or it should be much higher than like the average person, right? Like you look at all
Yeah.
these doctor blogs and stuff, right? And it's like they've got different things they are thinking about, and like even the amount they spend, is like much more than like your average person can spend, right?
Yeah, no, totally.
And it's like frugal for them, right? Like a doctor could spend like 100 grand a year, and it's like, oh, that's like pretty good,
I
right?
saved half my income and I spent $100,000.
Right, exactly, because it's true. It's like you could, if you're making like 300 grand a year, you could spend 100 grand and you'll still save a lot. So yeah, in terms of the way it's reached though is like different, because the student loan thing is like so much different for like medical and lawyers and stuff than it
Yeah.
is for like your regular, like the traditional path to FI that I think of is like the engineer or the IT person that like,
Me.
yeah, like you're a pretty traditional path. It's like, as traditional as it can be.
Yeah, traditional for financial independence
But
anyway.
it's like you got your
Normal.
first job at like 22
Mhm.
probably, right? And it's like you make a pretty decent income, and like you're not going to have like ridiculous amount of student loans, most people,
Most
like
of the time, yeah.
most of the time, or it seems like it anyway. But then you look at like, when you look at like a lawyer, it's like a lawyer takes out a bunch of student loans and doesn't start working until they're like 26 or something, or 27, right? A dentist, like my wife, who did a specialty too, it's like she comes out with a ton of student loans and doesn't start working until she's like 30s. Like she just started her first job ever, and
Right.
she's 31.
Yeah, like that. I would have been working for almost a decade at that point. Like,
Exactly. Like a lot of people are already, like a lot of financial independence people could already be FI at that point. And it's like, my wife has literally never earned an income ever. Like if you look at her like Social Security, you know how you can like go on the Social Security website and like look at like how much Social Security you've earned. She is not eligible for Social Security because she hasn't paid enough like in Social Security taxes in her life.
oh no.
You
I
know?
think, speaking of Social Security, I think that I'm eligible for Social Security now. I think I have enough credits
Like you put enough, right?
because I started working at like age 15.
Right. Yeah. It's like, so that changes up the way like you reach it, because then it's just like you're starting in the hole. You got to really build yourself back up. And then luckily you should have a big income already. And that kind of gets you in the catch up. But like for a lot of doctors and stuff, 40 is kind of like the 30 for the, for a lot of the,
Yeah.
like if you think of the FI thing. So I guess it would like say you push it back 10 years.
Yeah. But you would be a lot further ahead at the end of those 10 years than, say, somebody who's the IT consultant.
Right. Because if you're making that much as a doctor, dentist, or whatever, you can hopefully be, you're going to have, and you're spending pretty little, you can make it a lot. Oh, lifestyle inflation is the other issue that the high income people have to deal with, because you're like, and this is something that like you've probably noticed. It's like with IT people or engineer people, there's not a lot of like, you have to keep up with people around you, because you're kind of like off. Like, is that not really true? Or am I, like, the way I think about it is like I think of my buddy who's like a computer guy, right?
Mhm.
And he like doesn't interact with a lot of people. He doesn't have to like dress up nice. He can just like he like can work from home a lot. And so it's like, there's not a lot of like pressure to keep up. Whereas like
I
a
mean,
lawyer, it's like you
in
walk
that
into a law
aspect,
firm.
in that aspect, I think you're right. there's other pressures to keep up too, where like basically some people try and out nerd each other. So you're buying fancy electronics, you're buying new computers, you're
Oh,
building your own
yeah.
computers, you're building your own computers with expensive components that are like it can run like $3,000 to build your own like water cooled, custom built
Oh,
PC,
yeah.
right? And then you're like looking up all these software things. They're like, wow, look at what the software does. Buy like new phones or new gaming consoles. Like there's always things to
Yeah.
compare and compete with people. It's not about the clothes or the cars for the most
Yeah.
part.
Yeah. So I guess then it's just kind of a different type of thing people are looking to impress people with. Like,
Yeah, I mean, what is your income level support for keeping up with the Joneses, or what do you what do you think your income level should support?
right.
So, speaking of your wife being a dentist and starting at age 31, Sarah would like to know how it's going with her buying the practice
Yeah. So she
because
bought,
that's not like a normal path for a dentist, right?
right. It's not the normal path. It's becoming increasingly less normal because of the student loan thing. Like a lot of dentists, you come out and it's like you have a ton of student loans and it's like you just want the paycheck, right? Because so yeah, she bought her practice August 1st.
Hmm.
She like closed, bought it and everything.
So,
So
like 3 weeks ago.
literally 3 weeks ago, she started. She's got employees and everything. Has done
Nice.
payroll. It's like she's like a
Boss
business.
lady.
She is like a business owner now, right? Like she's not even home right now because she's been working. So when you own your own practice, you work just as like more than most people probably. But so far it's going good. She's still figuring things out. But it's like, the thing about this is like so many people are so scared of doing it, and it's like it's actually like it's worth taking a chance on because especially with like something like dentistry, it's like it's like something that's in demand,
Right.
and it's like everyone has to go to the dentist, and
Like
so
everyone should go to the
yeah, and it's like everyone should, but ultimately everyone has to at some point, and so it's like you have like a lot. There's just a lot of room for like a dentist to like own a practice and really make like a really good living doing
right.
that. It's scary because you're going in with no experience and no idea, but it's like you have to start somewhere, right? Like
Well, and so she's never had a dentist position before this. Like she went straight from residency
yeah,
to buying her own practice.
right,
She
yeah.
skipped the intermediary step of working for somebody else.
She skipped all that. Yeah, she went right into it.
Just dove head first.
Dove head first.
Okay, so there was a question that I had, and I lost my train of thought. Oh, anyway, so yeah, also in with having employees and business and everything, there's a lot of costs associated with that. So she
Yeah,
had to take out more loans
right.
to buy this practice.
Correct. Yeah, and it's a lot of loans. It's a big practice loan. Um, the one thing is, I guess, with a business, it's a business loan, right? So
Right.
it's like, and it's kind of a different world here because it's not like getting like a mortgage or something because they really care about like the numbers and whether it makes sense, whether the business can support the loan. And it's a 10-year loan that you can pay off like earlier.
Mhm.
And they don't need like any income because she had no income before. And they didn't even ask for my income when we did it.
So she financed the loans
Yeah,
off of the business that she was buying. You're not even in there. So they just gave her the money to buy this practice, and she
right.
already had student loans. Like they didn't really
They
care
don't
about her
even care
personal
about that.
finances.
Yeah, because a dental practice loan has like a less than a 1% default rate. It's like super low, and so banks are like not too scared about giving out practice loans. Like you could see here, this bank is giving out this huge loan
Right.
to someone who's never owned a business or done anything, and you can't really think of that happening in any other type of thing. But it's because the numbers make sense as long as you can do the work and as long as you have patients coming in. And it's like since she bought a practice, it already had like a base of patients anyway.
Mhm.
So for example, she came in and she already was making money like as soon as she walked in because she like bought the accounts receivable too. So
Nice.
people who had paid bills like earlier, the money came to her instead of the previous owners. And it's like, yeah. So But see, then all the money has to go out to pay employees and all the overhead and stuff, because the overhead for dental practice is crazy huge. Like there's just so many bills to pay.
Yeah.
But yeah, but you know, when you buy a practice, like she's booked out all the way through like December basically already. So it's like, that's pretty nice.
So, and well, I was going to say, geez, I won't be booking time with her, but I don't think her specialty is what I would need anyway, right? Because she does kids.
No, she does like gum surgery.
Gum surgery. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew it was something that was not your standard.
But they do like do cleanings too, like hygiene. Like, so if you ever want to do a cleaning, you could do it.
Is there a friends and family discount?
We could probably get you a discount. Although your insurance could, I think all cleanings are covered like by insurance because it's preventative.
I don't know. I have Liberty Health Share, so I'm not entirely sure.
I guess you could see. I bet you they
What
would
else
because
covered?
it's cheaper for the insurance to pay for your regular cleanings than if you have to go do something worse.
If I hack people, just make friends with everybody in every profession that you need. So I've got a lawyer, I got a dentist, I got tax people. Just make friends with people, and then you get the discounted rates, so you don't pay so much.
Do you know any vets? That's what I need in my like circle. A vet. I don't have it. I don't know.
I do know a vet, but not around here.
Yeah, we need one so we can like, if something's wrong with my dog, I can be like, hey, what's wrong with my dog, and tell me for free.
Yeah, I do have a vet friend who would give me, basic vet advice over like Facebook chat and everything.
Yeah.
But like for anything like super serious, like we were sitting here and a dog ran out into the street and got hit by a car. And like, that's like, you can't ask your friend in Illinois for help with the dog that got hit by a car. Like you need to take it to a hospital like right now.
Right. They can't go and turn on the video chat and be like, what do I do here?
Yeah, right. Like, oh, poor thing. So Dylan asks if between student loans and business loans, are you total as you and your wife at a positive net worth or not?
So the two of us, well, it depends on how you think about it because okay, so for myself personally, I am positive, obviously, because I have no student loans anymore. And I've got my money that I've saved over the last 3-4 years, right?
As you've been working it.
Because I've been working it, I've been saving it, I've been picking up trash and selling trash and dog sitting and doing all this stuff.
It's not trash. Treasure. You're finding treasure in the garbage piles.
Yes. So for my wife, it's a little bit because she's got student loans, and then she's got that. But then we've got a house, right? Which she's had this house since 2010. So this was my wife's house before I met her. And
so they let her buy a house while she was going to dental school?
Yeah, well, so my wife is a little, because my wife had money for a down payment when she started because so her family hooked her up with a down payment money, right? So we're in a privileged position in that she got to buy a house with a down payment, and then she basically bought the house, rented out all the rooms to pay the mortgage. So she house hacked like without even knowing what house hacking was because she like
OG house hacker.
OG house hacker, yeah. Back in 2010 when the housing prices were down, right?
Right.
Like basically her parents hooked her with down payment money. She rented out the 3 other rooms and they covered the mortgage. And then she went to school, so she wasn't paying any rent essentially, right?
Right.
And over that time now, technically the house is worth like more. Like if we sold the house right now for what we think we could get it for, we could basically pay off her student loans with that, right?
Nice.
So in theory, you could, if you think of it that way, it could be like that negates those two. And then if a practice loan, which is tied to a business, if you assume that the business should be worth the same as a practice loan, then that's kind of zero, right?
Right. Well, and plus you don't really mix business and personal either, right? Like that's a separate line on the accounting.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's true too, but like at the same time, I mean,
she's on the hook for it.
We would consider the business like the business would be an asset also, right?
Yeah.
Like if once it was paid off, for example, if it's worth X amount, we would say like that's part of our net worth, right? Presumably.
It's true.
So so it's true. It's like it's separate because it's not like exactly the same as like a personal thing, but it is like an asset. So I would say roundabout way, I would say we're even in net worth. But I actually haven't calculated it in like, I haven't actually calculated our entire like household net worth. So maybe that's a project to do.
Yeah, maybe in all of your oodles of free time that you have.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and my friend Sarah points out that I do know an occupational therapist as well. So if I need long distance advice,
Oh,
we can
okay.
hop on video chat, and I'm sure she could walk me through things.
Yeah.
Thank you for the reminder. Okay, so let's see. We had some other questions.
I feel like I didn't answer the tax question well.
Okay, we'll
Question
go
about
back
the
to.
taxes. So
Okay,
I'm
well
just
here.
gonna go back
Okay.
to that. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, keep going. That was
Okay.
another question. Yeah.
So the tax thing is an interesting one because with all these side hustles, right? Like they're all independent contractors, so they're all 1099 income.
Mhm.
So it's all technically like it's like your own business income, right? So even when you're doing stupid things like Postmates and Uber and stuff, you're still like technically your own business, right?
Right.
Which means you have to pay self-employment tax on it. That's 15.3% because you
In
got to pay.
Minnesota.
Well, because you got to pay. No, you got to pay both sides, the employer portion and the employee portion, because you're like self-employed when you're doing these things. But when you do that, it also means you can open up your own self-employed retirement plan, right? So,
Mhm.
like what I do with a lot of this is I have a solo 401k that I opened up for all these little side things, like my Postmates and Rover and all that stuff. And I basically put as much as I can into it as an employee contribution,
Mhm.
which there's a formula to figure that out. And then I try to I basically put in as much as I can into that to kind of minimize my taxes on that side income.
So, and you can have both the solo 401k and your employer 401k.
So that's the one thing, right? So if you're already maxed out your regular 401k at work, then that's like you can't put because like okay, so this is like hard to explain, but basically 401ks, like you got the employee portion, right? Like the
Mhm.
portion you put in as an employee. And
Yeah.
so that is all one big pool. So you can only put in the max 18,500 between all your stuff, right? Your regular job or your side thing.
Right.
And then your side thing, you can put in essentially 20% of your earnings as an employer contribution.
Up to 53,000 total, right?
Right. And obviously with the side stuff, I'm not making that much. But but what I do, so before when I was working at the state, I had a 457 plan, which
Nice.
was which is like this best secret retirement plan ever. And
Totally.
that one treated when you have a 457, it's like separate from 401ks, so you can actually max out both.
Yeah, and it's
So
separate. Well, it's separate from 457s, are separate from 401k and 403bs.
right.
Yeah.
They're like its own thing. So basically I could put in as all of my income, essentially my side hustle income, into my solo 401k because I didn't have a 401k at work. My current job,
Ah,
yeah. My
okay,
current
I get
job,
you.
though, now it's a nonprofit, so it's a 403b. So now I can't do that anymore. But my 403bs are like a lot of them are really crappy, right?
Yeah.
Like so my 403b is I have a whole story with this with the guy basically trying to scam me.
Oh
Like it's
man.
so weird because I have to like to contribute to my 403b, I have to like talk to some guy, like a financial guy that
What?
yeah, and this is so weird. Like teachers have to deal with this too, where they like it's not like a company where it's like you go to the website, it's like Fidelity, and you can
Right.
like invest in a Vanguard, right? It's like I had some guy, and he wouldn't tell me. Like he tried to like put me into like a bunch of actively managed like 1% expense ratio funds. Yeah,
Ah.
so I eventually managed to get him to give me like some BlackRock total market passive index fund that had like a 0.33% expense ratio, which is still like it's not good, but it's not like terrible for a 403b.
Right.
But so what I do is I try to put more of my side hustle income into my solo 401k since I can control that. So it's like I create my own 401k in
Right.
a way.
Yeah. Dylan says scamming a lawyer doesn't seem like a very intelligent idea.
Oh, that dude, when I talked to that guy, like when I was first setting up my 403b, he like sent me, I was like trying to set it up. He sent me all the stuff, and I was like looking at these things. I'm like, these are so bad. What this stuff you sent me, right? It's like horrible, right? And I'm like, I don't want any of these. Like, and then he goes, "Oh, are you like, do you know how to like investing?"
It shouldn't matter if you know how to
No,
invest. Like,
right?
just
No, he
don't.
basically knew that I knew what I was doing.
That's so irritating.
Yeah. So
Oh man. Zeri says 403B plans are the worst. A national disgrace.
right. Talk to anyone. Talk to anyone who has 403s, like teachers especially. They get so burned with these because just like they're like not quite as regulated as 401ks. And so you
Ugh.
could just like get away with a lot more in fees and stuff. And like it's just such a weird thing.
Okay, so here's a hilarious story about like scamming and being knowledgeable.
Yeah.
So, my boyfriend and I, as you might know, my boyfriend and I are looking to move in the next year or so, probably
Yeah.
next spring. And we're looking to downsize to sell
Yeah.
this expensive house in an expensive location and move a little bit further out. And so, he's big into looking into modular homes. And so we had an appointment last weekend and we went to this place called Twin City Mobile Homes.
Oh,
And
I
this
mean,
place was sketchy as like
it was like trailer park
it
thing.
was it was a trailer park. Like the mobile homes, the manufactured homes were
Yeah.
like not centered on the foundations properly. So they were like bowing. They looked like macaroni noodles. Like they were like I was surprised they didn't crack in the middle.
Yeah.
And they had like the siding was falling off and you could see all of the insulation on the inside and they were all like jammed together all around this like tiny little lot. And I looked at him and I was like, we are not going there.
So you didn't even
But
go in?
we didn't even go in. But I was looking at the reviews online and these people got ripped off when they were looking. I was looking at one specific manufactured home
Yeah.
company and people got ripped off. They got sold a different model. They got in a
Oh, yeah.
different loan and everything. And so like I went in prepared. I had a ton of questions. I was not going to get bamboozled by this manufactured home guy. Because the manufactured home companies also sell modular homes, which are like a step up.
Step up. Okay.
If
Yeah.
you've ever been on the interstate and you've driven by half a house on the interstate, those are modular homes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know that like those like mobile home people, they basically take advantage because it's like usually poorer people and like they
Yeah.
know that they can trick them basically and take advantage of them. And then if people complain, what are they gonna do? Right.
Right.
So
Yeah, so I went in there like with like paperwork and stats and like questions and like I was not going to get bamboozled by these
yeah.
mobile home guys. But it turns out to be a moot point because we did not go see them because it was so sketchy
It's too
looking.
sketchy. You need to
I,
go to like a fancy mobile home place.
no, no, and like I didn't know which place we were going to. Like I thought we were going to go to one of those places that you see on the side of the highway where they have like four houses that are models that you can tour. I
Yeah.
thought that's where we were going, but it was literally like Twin City Mobile Homes. And I was like, no, I draw the line. So Dylan says to look up the differences between modular and prefab homes and mobile homes, different types of loans, depreciation, appreciation, foundations, building codes, etc. So we were looking at the modular prefab because those do appreciate like normal stick built houses. Because basically they're like stick built houses, except they're built half in a factory and then assembled on your foundation that you build on the site. Like you have a general contractor who comes and builds all these. I've learned a
Yeah.
lot about modular homes recently. So
So you guys thinking of going like, is that like going to be like tiny home
it's
style?
not tiny home.
It's not tiny
It's
home.
not.
Okay.
You
I
can
don't
get a
know.
modular. You can get a modular home as big as like 4,000 square feet.
Oh, it's just like different
Yeah,
pieces.
yeah. It's like how are they assembled?
Right.
Um, looking somewhere around like 1,200 square feet or so.
Yeah.
We have a specific set, but I don't know if it's going to be if that's going to work out because it's just we might just end up buying a cheaper property in a smaller town
Yeah.
somewhere on the outskirts of the cities. But like that depends on employment options and a whole bunch of other variables that we don't
Right.
know that'll be in the spring. So
Yeah.
we're exploring all of our options.
You guys have the whole world to choose from.
But scamming people is not okay, no matter your income or education level.
Right. Oh yeah.
To bring a wrap up between that. So I think that's going to do it for this evening. So Kevin, thanks so much for joining us. If people want to get more involved with you and your side hustles, where can they do so?
Yeah, they could head to my blog, financialpanther.com, or hit me up on Twitter. It's Financial Panther, but without the R at the end.
Financial Panther.
Financial Panther. Yeah.
Panther. You're not being gangsta when you say that. It's Financial Panther.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. I had a great time.
Yeah, this is fun.
You're welcome back anytime.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Physician on Fire says, good to see both of you guys on screen. Looking forward to seeing you both in person in 2 days. Are you going to be at the fair?
Yeah. Not the fair, because I gotta work. I'm like a working stiff. I gotta go to work. But I will be at the that meetup.
Okay.
The Brits Pub meetup for
All
sure.
right. Well, then I will.
Should I scooter? I should probably scooter.
You need to scooter.
Yeah, but then I'll have to abandon the scooter in the street because I can't bring it into Brits Pub. They won't let me bring it in, probably.
But it's downtown Minneapolis. There's bound to be lots of scooters around there.
No. I mean, because otherwise, what I usually do with these scooters, I bring them in and charge them inside. No, because because I'm riding them for free because I take them as a charger and then I have to charge it up. But that means I'll have to
pay for it.
Yeah,
or bike home.
I'll have to bike home afterwards.
Wow. I tell you what, that dollar charge is going to kill you.
Yeah, they won't let me bring that in.
Probably not.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I will see you in a couple days. And to everyone on the live stream, thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you got as much entertainment and education a little bit out of this as I did. And I will see you next week where we will have more questions and another amazing guest to share with you. So thanks for joining me, and I will see you next week.